At the beginning of the film, a writer named Maddie Kelly, living in New York, attends a book presentation by the writer Paul Kennedy, with whom she has been working for over a year. Maddie has been secretly in love with Paul and isn't too bothered that he didn't credit her as a co-author of the book she edited for him. As Maddie gets out of a taxi and gazes at Paul, she even loses her scarf, which gets stuck in the door. Maddie's high school friends, Heather and Emma, also attend the presentation. However, Maddie doesn't tell them about her plans for the day to confess her love to Paul. At the bar, Paul tells Maddie that he wants to take their relationship to a new level. Maddie confesses that she feels the same way. However, Paul suggests they work together on a new book. She agrees, although she expected to hear something else. Later, as Paul heads to the presentation hall, he accidentally bumps into Emma, who is having trouble with her false eyelashes. Paul asks for permission to help her fix them. He gets acquainted with Emma and learns that she works as a makeup artist. All of this unfolds in front of Maddie. Over a friendly dinner, Emma tells Paul that she would happily listen to him read all night. An annoyed Maddie hurries to finish their meal and asks for the bill, forgetting in her nervousness that the bar is free. In the taxi, Maddie still doesn't tell her friends about her feelings for Paul. Meanwhile, Emma is delighted to find Paul's phone number inside the book he signed for her. In a very short time, Emma and Paul decide to get married. The friends fly together to the writer's homeland in Ireland for the ceremony. Upon landing, at the airport, Maddie rushes along the conveyor belt for her luggage. Catching up to it, she grabs the bag at the same time as a guy named James Thomas. They both insist it's their bag and refuse to let go. Eventually, it opens, revealing that it indeed belongs to James. Upset, Maddie tells her friends not to wait for her and fills out a lost luggage form. After that, Maddie boards a bus, where James also gets on. Seeing his camera, she strikes up a conversation. James tells her about his travels and photography of nature's beauty and various animals. He mentions he just flew in for a sheep shearing festival. The bus arrives at Paul's family estate, and Maddie gets off. She is greeted by Paul's brother, Corey. To entertain everyone, Emma and Paul suggest taking a walk to the local lake described in the book, where a magical fairy supposedly lives in an underwater city. Emma and Paul, along with Heather and Corey, head out to paddle on boats. Maddie declines and decides to take a walk. Suddenly, she encounters an apparition of Saint Bridget, the patron saint of Ireland, who tells her about a magical chair. Sitting in it and making a wish will make it come true. Though skeptical, Maddie decides to give it a try. She wishes to marry Paul. A strong wind picks up, and Maddie wakes up in her bed at the estate. She's convinced it was all a dream. However, she sees Paul in her room. It turns out her wish came true, and her wedding is in 3 days, with Emma as the witness. A happy Maddie joins the family for breakfast, after which Paul invites her for a bike ride. She struggles, even crashing into a fence, and Emma gladly takes her place. Paul's mother, Olivia, picks out a wedding dress for Maddie. Saint Bridget helps cancel the sheep shearing festival, which upsets James, who is now out of work. Later, telepathically, Saint Bridget asks Maddie if she's happy with her wish fulfilled. Maddie runs after Saint Bridget, begging her not to take it back, and accidentally falls into James' convertible. Seeing James's camera, Olivia invites him to be the wedding photographer, which he agrees to. James then meets Paul, and they agree to scout locations for good shots in the morning. In the middle of the night, used to sleeping alone, Maddie feels a hand on her shoulder and instinctively attacks Paul in the darkness, apologizing when she realizes it's him. Due to his injury, Paul can't join Maddie and James on their search for authentic locations the next morning. At the cliffs of Maher, Maddie tells James that before becoming Paul's editor, she started with freelance work and then landed a job at a publishing house. Meanwhile, upon seeing Paul's bruise, Emma tends to him, even offering concealer to avoid spoiling the photos. Due to bad weather, the only road back to the estate is blocked by a fallen tree. James and Maddie are forced to turn back. James knows of a good pub nearby where they can spend the night. The girl sends a message to Paul and then plays darts with James. Seeing the lively dances of the pub's patrons, they join in. The next day, during lunch, it's revealed that Maddie was the one who proposed to Paul first. Upon hearing this, James confesses to Maddie that he wouldn't have waited for her proposal and would have done it himself. The wish fulfillment stops pleasing Maddie, especially after she sees Emma crying, secretly in love with Paul. On the wedding day, Maddie stands at the altar and confesses in front of all the guests that she believes marriage should be a conscious choice made after falling in love. And she seems not to be in love with Paul. Paul saw Maddie and James together. He accuses the photographer of stealing his bride, even attacking him. Thinking it's his fault, James says goodbye to Maddie and leaves. However, she believes they are meant to be together. Maddie runs to the magical chair, wanting to undo her wish. She's learned her lesson. Everyone should live their own destiny. Everything rewinds. Maddie refuses to work for Paul and announces her intention to write her own novel. The town is small. She finds James sitting on a bench near the pub. All he remembers about them is the struggle over the suitcase at the airport. Maddie strikes up a conversation, asking for travel advice. She also invites him for a walk to the cliffs of Moher and then to play darts at the pub. James gladly agrees. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on new videos. Thanks for watching.